So again, we are to the fourth module, and today we will talk about the electronic security systems. Actually, electronic security management, as is the title. And I will share now my screen. Okay. So, yesterday we spoke about the access control systems, and policies and everything around this. Today, we will start with CCTV systems, with closed circuit television, as is called. And we have to clear what is CCTV, first of all. CCTV, it's not a camera with a monitor, okay? So even though it is, again, a closed circuit of TV, but it's not what we exactly have in mind. CCTV system is something completely from the simple CCTV. So the CCTV system has many different components, as it is the camera. The camera also have lenses, have a lens, have lots of technical parts, but I don't want to put you on this. That's why you don't see also pictures in this and so on. Who doesn't know what camera is? Who doesn't know what a lens is? So, but what you have to know is, you have to know to not be, how can I say, very demanding in something you don't know. For example, it's not possible by having only one camera to see everything and in detail. This is impossible. You can have one camera and you can see everything or less and in detail. This is because of the lens, mainly. Not only, of course, because if you have very high resolution in the camera, and you have also very high resolution in the recorder, it is possible, if you record something, even if you have very wide range of recording, to zoom it and find out data. Now, we have two types of CCTV systems, let's say. One that is there just to tell us somebody's coming or someone is there. And this someone is a human and not an animal and not something else. Okay, one type is this. Now, the other type is, who is this person? Is a man or a woman? Is skinny? What kind of clothes the person wears? How tall the person is? We start and having, let's say, if you have shoplifting applications or a very high needs in security, you need very high details as well. You're not able to say in a mall that there are 2,000 people at this moment who are looking for somebody or someone with, I don't know, blue shirt or a white shirt and black pants. Okay, it is possible the security staff to find 50 of them So from one position and after is not enough, and we need, as we say, as we call it, police details. The details that the police can get them and find the suspect. Now, we have actually, as you can read, 4 different types of CCTV, general types, and lots of different qualities and types and so on. So in every of these 4 types. And we start from the analog CCTV systems. Is the is an old technology. It is actually today very cheap, and all these cheap, let's say, Chinese, allow me to say this because I think it's something that we all know what I mean. But even though in the past, probably I wasn't born yet, they say the same thing. No, I was very young. The same thing about the Chinese, the Japanese systems. In the past, the people saying, what you want, good quality or you want a Japanese? And today, Japan, you see, produces amazing products, vehicles, and so on. China is in the same direction, and we have lots of improvements and lots of high quality products there. But let's call it like this in order for all of us to understand what we're talking about. We're talking about, for cameras, for example, that every human being is impossible to realize, to believe how it's possible a camera that has all these components to cost $5 or $10. And you send $10? $10, what I can buy with $10 in the Western world? A coffee, maybe. And they sell the cameras. So we will not go to the history of CCTV systems and talk about Vidicon systems before it was created, the CCD sensor and all these things, because are clearly historical, and it's only for technicians, and you don't need this. But let's move to the second type, which is the digital CCTV systems, that are systems with high resolution, very small size, accordingly. And there are some systems produced in Europe, for example, it's a camera, they call it Mobotics. Mobotics. I can write you the name to the chat when I have access to the chat. I don't have for the moment. Okay. I can find it, I think. Yes, I do have. And it is Mobotics. I just wrote it. So Mobotics, it's a special manufacturer. And why I mention a manufacturer, while usually I'm not, but you will see me doing it a little bit later also with the security systems. And I do that whenever I want to point top quality. Mobotics is a camera that you can have amazing quality. You can see at night without, with a very low light conditions, you can see beautifully. And while you are not able with these analog systems to see almost nothing. I gave you the name, you can Google it, and you can check there to see. It's mobotics.com, of course, the website. You can check there to see the quality of their systems, which is truly amazing. So you can read here that these systems often come with advanced features as motion detection, night vision, and remote monitoring. There are more. For example, we have an option to make what I'm going to say is applicable to all to the second, third, and fourth, and the first also to all four, let's say, categories, which is we can make a masking. It means we can say the operator is not able to see, for example, this part of the camera, but the one who has access to the recordings can see this part also of the camera in the playback, because maybe we have a camera in a spot that, you know, there are many movements around the world against cameras, especially in working environments. There are people who doesn't like to have a camera to watch them all the time. So in many occasions, it is possible the camera to be there and the entire office and desk of the person to be blurred. You to not be able to see anything what the person do. But if something goes wrong, and we have some person who, when I wasn't here, came and steal something or things like that, in the playback, to see the recording without this masking. And of course, you have another masking, which is complete. Not in playback, not in nothing. For example, maybe a camera is in a high position and it's possible to see in a changing room or in toilets. Okay? But there are some positions around, next to the toilet, next to the changing room, you want to detect, you want to see, and you are allowed to do so. And if you turn more the camera, you will lose them. So you can have the camera in the same position, but you make a mask in this area. To the motion detection, especially when we have a surveillance room, is very, very important and very useful, because there is no operator that he or she can watch 1 or 10 monitors, doesn't matter how many, 8 or more hours a day, and to be okay. Okay? After 1 hour, 2 hours, even elephants that will pass, you will not see them. So you need the motion detection in the case somebody is passing to have an alarm. But there are two types of motion detection. One motion detection is that covers the entire screen, and to the same system, not two types, but the system has this type and the other type is how you will, make the setup, the technician. So you can say the entire page, if something it moves, you have alarm, or if a person moves in this area and you make it with your mouse, like you painting it. Okay, you select the area you want to have alarm, and you deselect the rest of the area if it's selected already. You have to have something in mind. Motion detection will be activated also by how you say, the light. For example, if we have a camera that we are controlling our backyard, and we have cars that passing at night, and the lights of the cars light a little bit our area, this is alarm. Okay, you're not able to avoid this. In no case. That's why the alarm in the CCTV is not connected with sirens and so on, but with a small buzzer. Of course, in professional systems, you have dry relay contacts, as we call them, like a switch, imagine, like an electric switch, that every time you have motion detection, it gives you a command that you can use it and turn on some lights there, or you can do other things, okay? You can put a small light to the booth of the security guard. You can do many things. After we have the network or IP CCTV systems. What is IP? IP, I think you heard about this. We say IP address. IP address and the IP, generally speaking, also in the cameras, is an electronic address. If I send you a message and I ask you, go to your computer and please check and tell me your IP address, then you take your computer, you go to Google, and you write in one word, what is my IP? And it comes, in Google, some websites. Then click one of these. Be careful, is many times you can get a spyware from these things. And it tells you your IP address. Your IP address should be some numbers with dots in between. Okay, this is your IP address. So as we understand, it's an electronic address. This IP address, it tells to the system. We will talk about it also to the computers later, that we have for IT a big module. That's why I'm saying you have to try to be on time, and you have to try to stay as longer as possible. And my recordings will be also longer, in order those they don't manage to get the entire thing from Telegram, as we say. So let's continue. What is in the cameras? Imagine every camera needs two cables. One cable is the, how we say, the signal we receive. And sometimes we need three cables, and I will explain you why. One cable we need for the video. One cable we need, when I say cable, I don't mean with one line. I mean one separate cable that has inside many, more than two and up. One we need for video, one we need for audio, and one cable we need for power. So in every camera, we have three cables. This is not very efficient because cables are very expensive. We spend lots of meters of cables. If you have a very big installation, cables can cost thousands of dollars, only the cabling, okay? So by having three cables, sometimes it's a little bit challenging. This is with the digital systems and the analog systems. The network systems, as we call it, the IP systems, what actually they need is power and the data, okay? As we say, is RS-485, which is the data for the remote controlling, let's say, an operation, and you have everything through a telephone type cable with four inside. Okay. Now, will you need also for the power? And instead to pass 4, you can pass 6. You can buy one cable with 6 inside, and you give also power, special cables for this application, or you can give power to the camera locally. Okay, with an adapter to a 220 volts, very close to the camera, in order to save cabling. Of course, you have to have in mind always that if somebody cuts the power there, this camera will go off. And those who worked as operators, they can tell you that when a camera goes off, first thing it comes to your mind is not sabotage. First thing it comes to your mind is this camera died. Okay? So you report a technical problem. You don't report a sabotage. You will find out sabotage when the technician goes after 1, 2, 3 days to check why the camera doesn't work. I'm telling you from experience, in a perfect world, technician next morning will be there to check, but I'm just saying. So, by this said, one very important thing we save with IP systems is cabling, okay? Second, we have a little bit more, how can I say, modern technology to deal with, even though personally, I don't trust IP cameras as I trust the digital systems. Maybe I'm old school. I am old school, but even the connectors and the power and everything that when you pass through there are not so robust, are not so. You will see most of robotics cameras, even though they are amazing as technology and very, 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 very expensive. With the same money, by buying one robotics, you can get, I don't know, 50 normal cheap cameras. We're talking about these prices. But it's really worth. It's an amazing investment for those they can afford it. For villas, for instead to put 5 cameras and lots of lights, to make it like day in order to have very good image and so on, and you spend electricity and all these things, you put just one robotics and the issue is over. So and we can as I say, the one positive thing is we can integrate by making cabling of a network with these 4 cables, of the cable I told you that we use also to make a computers network. By using this in the same network, we can put also other systems like security, alarm systems, smoke detectors, and so on. Access control. Access control, it is a computerized system anyway. This cable needs anyway. You don't have any other type of cabling for access control. And we go now to the 4th category, which is the wireless CCTV systems, which is very fast and nice solution, especially if you have a very good quality of systems. But what it is wireless, it's not secure. Okay? What it is not, what it isn't wired is not secure. What is wireless have lots of vulnerabilities in the security sector. So Now, except the camera, we have the recording device. A recording device can be a DVR, which is the acronym of the digital video recorder, or NVR, which is a network video recorder. It's, it's this style of digital style, IP style as well. And you have options also to the digital systems. Let's go back there. You have options also to transfer the image in the digital, in the network, of course you have, because transferring is through internet, and it is possible anyway, because it's through internet. And wireless, it's only the communication between camera and recorder, the rest can be the same, like network or digital or analog, but the camera to be wireless. Now, wireless, there are in the market wireless cameras, and there are two categories: very, very cheap and very, very expensive. So I will suggest, if ever somebody asks your opinion, to say you are able to give your opinion only for the very, very expensive system, which is, except if you are not able to put cables, something, if you have a museum, if you have a castle, how you put cables to a castle, which is no cabling channels, there is no option you to put to these beautiful stones to the ancient building, or to put cables there. You have to go in wireless systems. And I'm talking now to check inside, not outside. Outside, you can put the cameras to the perimeter and look the castle, let's say, the building. So we have the recorder, and in the past, imagine we had the time lapse, as we called it. It was a video, a VCR with video cassettes, and imagine you was recording with a video cassette, VHS, these big cassettes we had in the VCRs in the past, to a 4-hour video cassette, was able to record a month, 720 hours, because the motor of the time-lapse recorder, as we called them then, was moving like this, and in every movement actually was taking one picture, one frame, okay, was recording like this. And when you was playing it faster, you were seeing movements, but very fast, and when it was playing in real time, let's say, when you was finding the place to play in real time, also the motor to the playback was making the same, so you had the same speed as in real time, how was the recording. Lots of problems, and thank God we don't have this technology anymore. It's a digital technology, and you have an option to record continuously, but in this case, you don't have a long record. Maybe you have for 3-4 days or for a week, if you record continuously. And you have option to record every time something is changing, or whenever the motion detector from the camera gives alarm. Okay. You have to know that the digital video recorders work in this direction. Let's say we have a camera that watches in a place in a room, and when the image is 100% the same. It means it passes 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and nothing is changed in this image. It's absolutely the same. Even the sun, it's absolutely the same. Does not record. It stops recording and records again when something is about to change. It looks it's changed a little bit, even a little bit. Okay, like this, they save a space in the hard disk, and there is no reason why you have to record then. Okay, so therefore we have with 1 terabyte disk, we can of course depends how many cameras you have and which quality you're recording. But with 8 cameras, let's say, and medium quality, medium to good quality, you can, with 1 terabyte, you can have a month without a problem, even more. So let's move from CCTV. Let's go to, for every of the modules we're talking and the parts in each module we're talking, if we go as we should go very deep. But if we do that, we need months, we need years of studies. It's not possible to do it in a month, actually in a half month, because we have also Telegram and so on. So burglary and fire alarm systems. Imagine, I will talk first about the burglary alarm systems, but you will understand after that also the operation of the fire alarm, because they are in the same principles. They are automations, both of them. So imagine that you have a human face and human head, not face, a human head. And this human head is an alarm system, okay? So imagine that you have the eyes, and these eyes can be the motion detectors, yeah, because we have motion detectors. Doesn't work with visible, of course, like the eyes working, and with the light, work with other technologies, with infrared technologies, not with what we can see with our eyes. We have our ears, which is the glass break detector, or sensors, glass break sensors, that are also electronic devices today. In the past, we had different types, mechanical vibration switches, it was then, vibration sensors. And the glass break detectors, they can catch the sound that produces from a glass when is breaking, and actually does not is not activated from how we say, from the sound we hear when the glass is breaking, but from some ultrasonic frequencies, harmonics as we call them, that the glass produces when it breaks. Unfortunately, these harmonics can also be produced when we hit metals very powerfully. When we have very loud sound, sometimes we have also activation of these sensors. And when you have the keychain with lots of keys, if you shake them chuk, 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 like this, it is possible again to give a false alarm. Anyway, continue. We have the nose, that can be the smoke the smoke detector, and we have the mouth, which is a siren, and we have the most important part also in the alarm system, which is the brain, and it's the central unit of the system. So it's a similar operation with the human head. In human head, we get with our senses we detect sound, movement, smoke, and so on. And we inform the people who are there with the mouth. If it's a human, we say, be careful, be aware, alarm, we have a fire, or somebody just now opened the door in the back, or I don't know what else. The human say it like this, the alarm system say it with a siren. By the way, in the past, we had sirens that they were talking sirens. And you were able to order also the, how you say, the, the message, what the siren will say. People was writing, alarm, alarm, somebody opened the back door, or things like this. But this was repeating endlessly. It wasn't very good. You have to know also that in England, it's prohibited. Sirens prohibited. Therefore, they have internally, inside in their homes, they have very, very loud buzzers and internal sirens, let's say. Very loud buzzers, but internally. Outside from the door is against the law. Is a sound pollution, let's say. Is against the law. That's why, because in England it was against the law, they invented a siren without sound. This, I will tell you today, does not exist because this siren killed lots of people. What exactly was this siren? This siren was producing low frequencies, very low frequencies, wasn't audible. He wasn't able to listen. It was making something like woo, 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 and something like this. And because this thing was synchronizing with people's heartbeat, we had many people who died from, how you say, cardiac arrests. Their hearts stopped. And therefore, this siren was canceled. Discontinued, let's say. It's bad because this was producing many good things. For example, if it was possible to make it in a way to not kill, it was amazing because nobody was able to stay inside. Those that they died before they died, or almost died, those that almost died, they said that first symptom is you don't feel well. Second is you vomit. And if you don't go out, you die. Okay. So you will not find about these sirens nowhere because, as I said, these are discontinued. Panic buttons. We have 2-3 different types of panic buttons. We have remote controlled. We have panic button with a cable to the under the table. We have panic button in the foot. Lots of banks they have. It's a special for banks. You have to push your leg inside. It's a metal like this with opening in the bottom. You put your foot inside, and then you press like this with your shoe up, and you activate it in this way. Even if you push your leg in, you don't have alarm. You have to push and pull up. Okay. We have a glass break. You have to press and break the glass to have alarm. Usually, this kind of panic button we have to the fire systems. I think you know it. There are also some other that with pressing will not break, but you have to use a small hammer to break it because it's glass. And this you put usually where you have children and those they can play with it, and or I don't know. Then you put this with a glass. I was always be skeptic with this because you can cut yourself if you are in panic and you don't find the small hammer that they have usually next to it. But anyway, and you have other ways also to create a panic, let's say, situation. And yeah, I see many people that have problems with the network. I'm sorry for this. We will have the recording in Telegram. So, and as I said, there is other types of panic to transmit panic. For example, we have the money trap. Money trap, it's a special switch. You put it inside in the drawer with money you have to the cash register where the money are. Before you put the banknotes inside, you take when it's empty and you have the sensor, this alarm, this special thing. It's actually like a spring, like a metal thing. You lift it with your fingers. You put underneath a banknote and you leave and you close it, because when you do that, you don't have alarm. And every time you empty the cash register, you leave one banknote on top of this one. You don't take the two last banknotes. And the reason you don't take them is exactly because you don't want to activate the alarm. And you want, if you have a robbery or if you have a thieves that break in at night and they open it and remove by themselves, to send a silent alarm to the police. So what exactly this, I think you understood how it works, but I will tell you again. You put one banknote underneath a special mechanism, which is like, you know how it is, these traps that they kill the mouse, that they turn and kill the mouse. I'm sure you know. Imagine something like this, but very, very light, that you lift it, you put one banknote, you touch it. When it touches this metal on top of the banknote, does not close circuit. If you remove the banknote, it touches down, has another metal, closes circuit, sends alarm. So what it means, you put all the money on top of it. If you have bank robbery and come with a gun and say, give me the money, you take all the money, including the specific, and you give it. And then you say, go away, you go away. Even the burglar himself, or the, how you say, the robber can take them and activate it, okay? We have also, this was the money trap. We have also a combination of a code. As I said, with alarms, we have the keyboard that we put on and off the alarm system. And many professional security systems, they have also the ambush code, as I call it. It means you go inside in the house, and the time that you are about to go in, it comes somebody with a gun and say, deactivate the alarm. So instead to deactivate the alarm with the code you have, you use another code, can be 4 times 4, can be something that you will memorize and you will remember in this occasion. The specific code will shut down the alarm without nothing to happen, but will send a signal to the security company, to the central monitoring station, which is connected to the alarm system, or to the police if you have this service from the police. Again, I will say for once again that this system, I was witnessed a case that this system worked. The client was in ambush. Someone in the past, it was a couple, elderly couple that was very rich. They were living in a villa. They entered inside. The time they was entering, they came with guns. They forced them to put the alarm off. They put the alarm off, but with a special code. The security company received ambush code, and the idiot who was in the security company just make a check to be sure and call the client to the telephone to say, listen, we received this ambush code. Is everything okay? And of course, he has to say okay and has to give the real code, because the burglars now, they knew what happened. They understood. And they said, the threat, if you don't give the real code, we will kill you. So the client said, the real code said, it's not a problem. The idiot, because we say, the crazy person, you have to remember this in the security industry. The crazy person is not so dangerous like the stupid. The stupid person is 10 times more dangerous than a crazy person. So it's better to hire for your security department someone who is crazy than to hire someone who is stupid. Both old people, this couple, were killed. When they took all the money, they killed them like dogs. Yeah? We have other cases also, similar, that it was another rich family of three or four, mother, father, and 2 children. Again, rich, very rich people. They were living in a villa, and there were 2 Filipinese, a Filipinese couple that was working as maid and gardener in the house, the specific house. And the husband took out a bush knife and started slaughtering them. They managed, they pressed the button, and Philippines knew the code. Security, Philippines didn't know the code. And the security sent the police, and the police officer was convinced from the Philippines that it was just a false alarm. And they were still alive. Yeah, we have many things. So, you know something, why I'm telling you this story, these stories, you have to have in mind, even if you have the best system in the world, the best electronic system, the best plan, the best everything, is enough one idiot to destroy your life, your career, and your business. Okay? It is possible you to be fired because somebody is an idiot. Therefore, be sure under your commands you have only smart persons, even though not so well trained, not so, I don't know what, they will learn the job, even without any idea in anything. They will learn it. The smart person will learn everything. The stupid, you have problem. So We have sensors with the security, with alarm systems to protect doors for opening and windows. Windows can be, can open like this or can be sliding. We have different magnetic contacts, we call them. We had also other contacts that one was touching to the other one, metal contacts, but they were oxidizing and we had false alarm. We had false alarms. So, and what else we have? Motion detectors, as I said, they're in different technologies. And it has to be very carefully chosen and from somebody who knows about what he's talking about, because not all motion detectors can be installed everywhere. For example, the most popular, the most common motion detector you can find is the PIR, is the passive infrared sensor, passive infrared detector. And this watches, let's say, watches an area through a special plastic lens. They call it Fresnel lens. This lens, if you see it, watch it very, very close, you will see have some lines and cycles designed. From this is like a lens, watches the area, even if it's blurred, it's not clear, and through here receives temperatures, infrared radiation, let's say, light, infrared light, from the area. If something is changed in this area, it means somebody moved there. This gives us an alarm, okay? Now, because this watching with infrared, it means the heat of the body and the differences in temperature everybody or everything has in the place. It means if a big animal passes, you will have an alarm, except if you have special motion detector for this. Same technology, but special that can detect more than 6, 7, 10 kilos animals and so on. So small animals will not detect. Big animals is like a human who goes in 4. So, and but you can have false alarms if you have a broken window, broken glass, and you have wind comes in, cold air, cold or hot, doesn't matter, different temperature from what you have inside will give you alarm, false alarm. If you have an air conditioning device that starts by itself, will give you an alarm, okay? And what else? And sometimes even if you have very strong light that hits this, the Fresnel, this lens, the motion detector, you can have also alarm. If you need to put a motion detector inside in a server room, you can use microwave motion detector, but you have to have a distance. I don't know. Yeah, usually they don't have more openings. Usually you have a door, can be metal or can be wood, but solid wood. So one magnetic contact is enough for the server room. Let's continue with the fire alarm systems. Fire alarm systems now, we have the electronic fire alarm systems that detect the fire. We have, again, like the human face, we have the brain, which is the central unit of the system. We don't have keypads. Why we don't have keypads? To the alarm system, we have keypads. Why we don't have keypads to the fire systems? Because we don't want anyone to deactivate it. The fire alarm system, it operates 24/7. And in a case you have a false alarm and so on, you have to deactivate the sensor. And when you deactivate the sensor, also the unit will stop giving alarm. And even though you can have a key temporarily to shut down the sirens, okay, to cease the alarm in a way, but you have to find and cancel the command you receive. You have the sensor. Now you have 3 types of sensors. Smoke detectors. Smoke detectors, you have actually 2 types in the smoke detectors. One is imagine you have a light. You have a laser. Let's imagine it like this. You have to your hand a laser. And now here you have so much smoke that even if you hit it with a laser from the backside of the smoke, the other side, it doesn't pass at all. It reflects here to the smoke and it doesn't pass to the other side. These are the photoelectric smoke detectors, as they call it. Photoelectric. This actually has a light, can be visible, or can be infrared, no problem, from transmitter to receiver that continuously sends this small beam. And when you have smoke and goes in between this, it doesn't pass and you have an alarm. And usually when you open the windows because you know, you burn the food or something else, somebody burned a piece of paper, I don't know what, and then now it's not a problem anymore. In order, this sensor and also the rest sensors, I will tell you, except the, how you say, the heat detectors, this needs the temperature to go down. But smoke detectors, if you blow them to go from inside the smoke, it will stop screaming. So one is a photoelectric, and you have another type also. We call it ionization, smoke detectors, or yeah, smoke detectors. And actually what happened, I think you know the ionizers, you know the devices that we put them in our homes. There are also some types for the car that they can clean the atmosphere, the air inside in the room. How this happened? You have to know, maybe you know already, that the dust and the smoke, they come in on a shape of positively charged ions. Ions are small particles in the atmosphere. So when you have positively charged ions, probably is dust, is smoke, and so on. So what you do, you create negatively charged ions and you spray them on top of the specific positive ones, and you eliminate them because it's like mathematics. This one is -1, this one is +1. When these two touch each other, we have 0, eliminate one the other. And around in the area of the ionizations, we have lots of dust, which is like, black dirt, powder, black powder, okay? And it's strange, maybe not after a fire. This can be in houses. Okay, in houses also they have a ventilator that sucks inside this dead ions, and you can find them in a filter and so on. Okay, this is about ionizers. About the ionizing, let's say, smoke detectors, they calculate how many positive ions are in the atmosphere, and they give alarm because the smoke comes with countless amount, the vast amount of positively charged ions. Okay, but what this means if we have lots of dust, lots of dirt, because I don't know, we don't have a floor. It's made out of soil. We don't have concrete. We don't have nothing down, and we had to blow air strongly, and we have lots of dust. This smoke detector is not for this area, okay? Because you will start screaming, the poor thing. Also, if the smoke detector of ion, this technology I'm talking now, for a reason, you have, let's say, a double-deck bed. These beds we have in the army also, which is below and up. If we have a sensor in the ceiling and we have children a double deck, so their heads is closer than 20, 30 centimeters, 40 centimeters away from this smoke detector, it is possible to create cancer. Because in order to have ionization, you have to produce very high, how you say, voltage, and very high amount. And the sensor you use and the material, let's say, you use, in a way creates radiation. Okay? I'm trying to say it in simple words to make it understandable. But anyway, I hope you understand. So stay away in a distance from this kind of detectors, but they are the best. For what reason? The smoke detectors, in order to give you alarm, lots of smoke should go there. And it's already late in a way. The ionization, because, how many times you say, I smell fire, I smell something is burning, but there is no smoke around you. Okay? This is the job of the smoke detector that makes ionization. You understand? Checks how many positive ions are in the environment, in the area that works. This one will give you alarm on time. Okay? But can give you a false alarm also if you have lots of dust. Now, to the smoke detectors still, what I said before I said, imagine a laser and the smoke and the receiver. I said that before. And this is inside in a normal sized smoke detector, okay? And I'll leave it. It's not necessary to show you smoke detectors and stuff. So imagine this now. If we have a warehouse, okay, we can have exactly the same effect if we take a special beam, as we call it, a special transmitter that produces a beam, but a very, very strong one, and we put it to one wall, and to the other wall of a huge warehouse, we put the receiver, okay? So what it happens, and if in these areas goes smoke and cuts this communication of the specific beam, you have alarm. And this, it gives you a very long coverage. Because what we have, let's say 100 meters or even more that we want to cover with smoke detection we have to make. If we put small smoke detectors, first of all, we're not able to put them so high. We have to put them even lower. But even lower, if you have air that blows somehow, will not work because the smoke goes all to the ceiling. Okay? But if you have these systems, wherever you install it, to the ceiling or lower, when the smoke comes, will give you alarm, you know, because it will pass to go up. And with 3 or 4 of these beams, you can cover an area of, I don't know, 1,000 square meters, maybe more, 2,000 or 3,000 square meters, big warehouses. In warehouses, you are not able to put ionizing smoke detectors because of dust. So now we have heat detectors. Heat detectors are like a thermostat, imagine, with a difference that doesn't give you only alarm in a case of high heat, because how these sensors, how these heat detectors can work, for example, in Dubai, in Arabic Emirates, with all this heat, impossible, will give you a false alarm all the time. No. The difference is, okay, you have also heat detectors that if the temperature is high, gives alarm. But these actually are thermostats, are not heat detectors for fire. The heat detectors for fire, it gives you alarm when the temperature goes higher, but in a specific time. It means if instantly goes high, if very fast the temperature starts growing, that simulates a place that starts getting fire, then it gives you alarm. With this type, you resolve the problem of dust, you resolve the problem of smoke, because maybe you have a place that is full of smoke. How you protect an area that by nature, this place is full of smoke, but not fire, strangely. Usually we say when there is smoke, there is fire also, but I'm saying, okay? Or great amount of dust, because if it's great amount of dust, even normal smoke detectors, photoelectric as we call them, will give you alarm also, not only the ionizing. If it's too much, you're not able to watch, to look. So there you put the heat detectors, because they have a temperature that they operate, of course. You're not able to go and put it in an area that has 200 Celsius degrees, because there it's already burning the area, but they have a temperature that they operate that can be high. It's not necessary to be a normal. And then it will not give you alarm, but if the temperature goes high, very fast, will give you alarm, okay? So it's useful sensor to know the heat detectors. Flame detectors is something else now. Flame can watch the flame, and you can watch it with many different technologies. Flame detection, what I said before, the PIR, moisture detection, if lots of temperature, changes and so on. So imagine something similar for fire applications. It means if a human passes and so on, will not give you false alarm, but if you have a flame, will give you an alarm. Flame detection also you can understand, I think, presumably, also from cameras. And you have also thermal imaging with thermal cameras that you can detect. but we don't go to this. And I didn't go and, okay, I can say this if you want about in the CCTV, because we have it today, that except all these cameras, we have also the thermal cameras. Okay, thermal cameras are not exactly cameras, are sensors that they can see an area and they can, you have video, you know, you have live imaging, I mean, you know, it's not a picture, and you can see what is hot. And when I say what is hot, what has difference, the temperature of this body that enters in the area or goes to the area that our camera is detecting. So the difference to be from 0.1 Celsius degrees, 0.1, not 1 Celsius, 0.1. If it moves, you will be able to see it. So imagine when you watch at night or during the day, not at night only, you watch an area and then you have a bush, you have a rock, you have a car, and you have a human. The rock is, what is the temperature outside? 20 degrees, 25 degrees, 30 degrees. Comes 36 degrees, a human, you see it like a candle. Okay, the winter. Ooh. And the good news is, if is a bush full of leaves and so on, and somebody's moving there, you can see behind, it's a human. Even during the day, you don't see nothing. It's a bush, it's lots of leaves, you don't see nothing. Okay? These are the thermal imaging, thermal cameras, we call them, but don't call them cameras. It's thermal imaging. It gives you image, but it's not like the CCTV cameras. Okay? These cameras, we have them in many embassies around the world. American embassy, Israeli embassy, they use them a lot. And you use them together with CCTV cameras. Okay. Also, you have payload, as we call it, in aerostats and in UAVs, in helicopters, police helicopters, for example. They have thermal cameras and they have CCTV cameras as well. Okay. With the thermal camera, you can see if somebody put a lighter on, you know, to put a cigarette on in, I don't know, 10 kilometers away, you will see something sparks down in this direction, you know. So another application of thermal imaging, which is amazing, is you can check a building and you can see where you have losses in the temperature, when you have losses in isolation, where the isolation is broken, and this makes you pay more money for heating. And you can see a mechanical, let's say, cylinder that turns, and you have connection points or something, or an engine. Some points are overheated. And then you say, here you will have, if you don't change this, how you say it, well bearing, something like this in English, I think. If you don't change it, it will break because you see you have higher temperature there. Or you can see a human who has a fever. You can see this person and this person, and this person is completely almost white, very yellow, almost white in the imaging. And the other person is red. And the car which is stopped there, or a building, is blue, dark blue. Okay, it goes like this. So you understand what is more hot. And cables, power cables, when it's connected, you can go and check, how you say, fuses box with the thermal imaging, and you can see which cables are ready to take fire. You see them are very light, okay? Very important device, and it's not so expensive as it was in the past, okay? I don't have one. Many times I said I'm going to buy one, but I don't have one. So difference, as I said, between a security system and the fire alarm system is that the security systems, we don't have so high specifications, so strict specifications in the quality as we have in the fire alarm systems. Fire alarm systems are all of them produced under specific specifications, specific technical specifications. Okay, and this is because we have to deal with human lives more than with properties. It's like academia, who designed all these things at the end of the day, said, okay, for a false alarm, for a burglary alarm system, you can put even rubbish. You will have false alarm, or maybe one day come in, they steal everything and you don't find it out. But with the fire alarm systems, people can die. So it should be in a specific way produced materials and so on. Okay. Something that we don't say, it's also the extinguishing systems. We will not talk about extinguishers here. Of course, I'm sure you know we have different extinguishing material for different types of fire. Of course, I'm sure you know that. I'm sure you know that you are not able to extinguish fire of liquid when it's burning gasoline, diesel, what is liquid, by oil, cooking oil even, by spraying water. Because every single droplet of the water will take a part of the oil, of the fuel, I don't know what, and will fly together and we spread the fire all over. Okay, and because the oil or the diesel at this moment will be also hot, it is possible when the water comes in, which is cold, to have a spark, to have like explosion. Okay, so we don't extinguish liquid fire with water. Instead, we can use we have to think always that fire, in order to operate, it needs fuel. Okay, so the burning material needs fuel and needs oxygen also. If you remove the fuel or if you remove the oxygen, the fire is gone, it's stopped. Okay, so how we remove the fuel? How is the gas cookers? You know, this we have, we cook with this. We put the gas on and gas off. And when we put the gas off, this we do. We cut the fuel. And the oxygen, how we can cut oxygen? By put a blanket on top of it. If you have it in a kitchen and burning the oil and so on, you don't throw water. You don't try to lift the pot. Only one thing, you run to the bedroom, you find the blanket, and you go and cover it. Only this you do, nothing else. You cover it and you go, okay? Don't try to take this out because this is burning. You shake it, the fire will come on you, the fire will spread all over. And maybe the handles are also burned. So you will throw it without, you want that, you know? So when we have a fire extinguishing in a building of a company that you will work properly, How you do that? Of course, you saw lots of, in many buildings, sprinklers on the ceiling that spraying water. This is the worst nightmare, but in some occasions can be helpful. For example, if you have a wooden construction, if you have a wooden house, a wooden construction, and you have the burning material is wood, by spraying it with water, you save it because you stop the fire and then the wood will dry and will come back to the previous condition. But if you spray water in computers, in cloths, in magazines, in everything, in paper, you know, everything except wood, you destroy it. Of course, if you have people in the same area and you want to save the people, this is what you do, okay? Now we have different types of fire extinguishing. We have also CO2 and we have FM 200, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, my head is a little bit. Yes, okay. Sorry, I just want to be sure. And FM 200. And some other types in the same style. But let me say these two different types, which are very popular and very well, let's say, they do very good job. CO2 is what we take out from our mouth every time we exhale. CO2 goes out, okay? We use the oxygen to survive, and we take out CO2. And the car engines take out CO2, so and so. And we say we need trees because trees filtering and keep the CO2 and releasing, not all trees, of course, and releasing pure oxygen. That's why we say trees are like lungs. And for our survival are very, very important. So I forgot to say before, yeah, no, I didn't actually. I said oxygen and fuel. So if we have a room, usually you find this in server rooms. And in this room, there are no human, it's the server, for example, and we have a fire. How we will extinguish the fire? Are we able to know what is the fuel? The fuel can be by itself the server to start burning and inside have material. How will we remove it? Impossible. So we have to remove the oxygen. And by spraying CO2, carbon dioxide, inside in the burning area, what we do when we spray this, we take out the oxygen. Okay, it's not oxygen anymore, it's CO2 inside, it's carbon monoxide, dioxide, I'm sorry, it's carbon dioxide. And with the carbon dioxide, the fire is gone, it stops, it's gone, has no oxygen anymore to burn, okay? But if we have a human who hit the head and is unconscious on the floor, and it comes CO2 inside, human will not make it. Human will not die from the fire, but will die from the CO2. Let's go now to a serious headache they had in the past when, if I remember well, it was Russians the ones who invented, but I'm not sure. And this is not important anyway. Let's say, what will happen if you are in a spaceship, in a shuttle or something, in the space, and you have a fire? You put CO2, you have a little bit oxygen, and you are about to destroy it. No, you need, and not only this, because you have human inside. Human will die, and they're not able to go out as they're able to go out in the earth. So what you will do, you have to create something else that will not kill the human. This was the reason that created FM 200, this gas I told you before. Okay, so FM 200 created to extinguish the fire by removing oxygen without to kill the human. So the best for a server room, for every similar, for offices and so on, is that if you have an office full of computers, and we have the archives of the country, if you have a museum, if you have, and you want to extinguish a fire, you are not able to start spraying. You imagine to have the Gioconda sprayed with water. What will happen? Okay, Gioconda is protected with glass and so on, but I'm just saying. So therefore, you need FM 200. And you will ask, okay, this sounds beautiful, FM 200. But if exists FM 200, why we still have CO2 extinguishers? And the answer is the cost. FM 200 is way more expensive than CO2. Okay? So we have other types that we can extinguish a fire, of course. We have the powder, another nightmare, but makes less damage than the water. If you throw powder to my computer, maybe it will survive, because I can dust it, does not make a short circuit, doesn't burn my computer. I can clean it, I can dust it, I can give it for service, I can save it. Okay? Even though you're not able to stay like this, because computers, servers, everything has ventilators that suck air inside. If it becomes powder, everything will block inside, and the powder by itself will rise the heat and will make the computer to burn. So it means if you have an instance, you're not able to continue working until everything receive a service. Okay, but it is okay, can stop the fire. You don't find in offices the powder, but you can find powder fire extinguishers. Okay, I'm just saying. And powder and CO2, of course, and so on, can be used also in the electric fires. Okay, because if you throw to electric fire water, it will be the last thing you do in your life. Okay, you don't throw water on electricity. Electricity will come through the water and it will burn you out, will kill you. So all these sound childish. Forgive me, allow me to mouth it, to say it, because I should say it. And what else we have? There are many different types of. I suggest you to take a course from fire brigade or from other company, that because you're not able to make only theoretical with fire. You need classroom, you need practice. You have to extinguish fire on a liquid. You have to do things. Okay. And to the extinguishing, we have also another strange type in the airports. When we have airplanes that their wheels are not open and they are about to land with the body of the plane, they throw a special foam that makes the plane to slide and does not produce sparks, because it is possible these sparks, and when the the wings of the plane also touches to the ground and starts making sparks, there is a fuel, the kerosene of the plane. Yeah, I think we covered the fire detection and so on. We don't need something more in this. And I think it's very heavy to go also to information technology tonight. I think I will not go to this, and I will do it to the next session, because you have to go in this mood. I want you to be in the mood completely, in this mood, I said, I'm sorry, in the mode completely of IT, okay? Because we have to talk about many things, except the malware phishing. Before I shared one phishing scamming email I received, and because we have more than 50, 60 email accounts, and I hear from the server every time it comes an email, beat, 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 was coming non-stop. It was a massive distribution of the one email scam. It's amazing. We have to talk about all these things, okay? And as you see, it's truly worthing. And we will talk about it. And module 6, we have personal security. Personal security, as you can see, is big. And then module 7, we go even worse, in way more details. So I'm finishing the sharing in order to stop recording also. Thank you for being in this session.